Well, hey y'all, and welcome to
Welcome
Shade
to
and the
Shade in the
City.
City.
I'm your girl Treese.
It's Nels.
And today, y'all, we are here to get into, well, first of all, let me say happy Easter, happy Resurrection
Yes.
Sunday. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed their holiday. Hopefully you didn't spend too much money out here trying to decorate and hide no eggs. Hopefully you went the plastic route this year. But yeah, y'all, because eggs be too expensive. I was teetering on the idea and I said, you know what? He ain't gonna miss it no way. He'll be all right. So yeah, y'all. If you haven't already, please make sure you do, do what y'all supposed to do, Raising Cane and Shade Squad. And y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for us, please.
And that subscribe button.
And y'all, I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm kind of like heavy on the heart a little bit because I literally just finished the episode. So it's like fresh. I ain't had time to let it, you know what I mean, settle.
Marinate.
So
Let
yeah,
it marinate.
marinate. So I'm still a little sad. I literally, if I wasn't coming up here and I knew I only had like 2 minutes, I probably would be in tears. But I held it back.
What made you say it? I know you ain't talking about.
I was sad. I was sad for Rock. I was sad for Rock, not Joyce. I was just sad because, anyway, y'all, we're gonna get into it.
We
So
knew
yeah,
she would have did it. We knew she was
look,
gonna do it.
look, I'm sure DeMarcus will show up and add his 2 cents soon. But anyway, yeah, let's get into it and let's get shady, y'all. Okay. So I don't know how you did this because I literally did it all as one section. I forgot to tell you that.
I
So
did all of one section. The first
huh?
part. The first part.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did all as one section.
The same thing. Okay. All right, y'all. So we kick off this episode. We see Neek. He's telling, obviously, we know he was in the kitchen eating the butter pecan ice cream. Basically, Neek tells Rock that, she thought her and Kanan could do what Ronnie did, but they never could. And so he tells her that that was her mistake. And she's been effing up ever since. So Rock is confused as hell, of course, because she's like, first of all, you're not supposed to be in my kitchen eating my butter pecan. You're supposed to be in somebody's ground somewhere, but how appropriate. I think it's real funny that they left this for Easter weekend, okay? Because we do get the Jesus comparison later on in the episode, all right? But so basically, like I said, she's still surprised that
right now everybody knows that he's been resurrected.
Right. And so basically he says that he's still alive despite, her best efforts. And Rock, like I said, I already said that. All right. And so she was like, but I would never do that. And she's like, I don't know what happened to you. And I didn't even have anything to do with it. And so this, for whatever reason, just really sets him off. And I'm assuming it was more because of, I feel like you playing in my face type situation. And I can understand that. And basically he lets her know that I am not high post nor unalive con. Does that make sense? Did I say unalive con?
No, it's deaf. DEF. Def con.
Oh, deaf. Like, oh yeah, deaf. Okay, yeah. I like that. I was thinking that, but I didn't want to offend nobody. You know what I'm saying? So he accuses her of thinking that basically he was a clown ninja that she could take down and take his work. But he lets her know, look, that ain't me, baby. That ain't me. And so he said, he ain't you. So Rock, Rock tells him, look, I could take you if I wanted to take you down, I would have took the work, but I said that already. I'm sorry. So basically she says on her child, which I thought was crazy because then he goes, well, we all know you don't give a damn about your kids, right?
Yeah, when he said that, I was like, oh.
Okay. And I was like, well, damn. And so yeah, she's like, look, I didn't have anything to do with what Ronnie did to you. And he's like, I see your lips moving, but anytime they move and you lying. And he's like, you and Kanan set me up from the start. He's like, you helped me get on just so you could take it from me. And I was like, well, I could see where he's kind of going with this. And then he's like, and I bet little Linguini, which we all know is Stefano, was in on the whole thing. And Stefano wasn't in on. No, He had, if anything, he helped save whatchamacallit. So yeah, Stefano didn't have nothing to do with that.
No, none of them had nothing to do with it.
I'm just saying, I had to, to remind myself. I had to think back. But yeah, so basically she just continues to deny it, and he's like, and she's like, what we had was different, and we felt something, and he's like, and all I felt was the blade sliding through my ribs when you lied to my face. And I said, well, whoa, aren't we passionate, Nick? Okay.
Yes, right.
And you know, and he's like, and I was also there the night that you put down Howard and Ronnie, and you know, tying up loose ends like you like to do. And I was like, oh. So I'm thinking she was like shocked by that as well. Like, damn, so you've been alive that long? And so she explains that she thought Ronnie had grabbed up Kanan, and that's what really happened. But you know, obviously, like I said, Neek isn't trying to hear her side of anything. And he tells her that, you know, he's taking back everything that belongs to him starting tonight. And so
you know what I thought?
What?
Look, my mom went totally left when he said that.
Okay, what freaky things were you thinking?
Clearly, I wasn't the only one that was thinking it, because I did not even say freaky things.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying. So I mean, clearly.
No, I'm saying I ain't the only one that was thinking it. Clearly, look, when he was like, "I'm taking back everything that was mine starting tonight," I said, "Oh, he gonna be like, girl, go bend your ass over that damn counter."
Well, no. We'll get there. Okay. And so Rock is like, you know what? Your head is really messed up. And, you know, you're not listening to reason or facts. Hey, welcome, VKJTV.
Hey.
What's up, cuties? We're getting the best scenes and the best lines this episode. We absolutely are. It was good, but y'all, I was still, again, on the sad side, still sad, okay? For Rock, not Joyce. For Rock, not Joyce, okay? So then basically, Rock's phone rings. And so Neek lets her know that that's probably about him. And so she's like, well, what do you mean? So then she makes the connection and she's like, oh, 2 + 2 = 4. You've been the person that's been messing up my operation. So he said, you know what? Yeah, I was going to drop y'all all at once, but I thought it'd be more fun if I took my time. And so then Rock knows that, you know, that's not what it is, and says whoever is backing him is basically scared of the static with Stefano and his crew. And so Neek tells her, look, I'm done being unalive, okay? And he wants her to watch, okay? As he takes everything back from her. And then he tells her he wants to know what it feels like to be left on the side of the road. Y'all know how he was left on the side of the road. It's not DIE, okay? DIE, not the higher. You know what I'm saying? So, DI. Yeah, DI. Okay, yeah.
I like the other line he said.
And then, you stupid. And then he warns her that before he buries her in the ground, he's going to bury her on the blocks first. And he said he's going to be hitting it soft from the back.
No. He said he's going
to circle around.
That ain't what he said.
He's going to circle around.
No, Tree. That's not what he said. He said, I've been hitting it soft from the back. Now I'm going to circle around and hit it from the front in your face like you like it. I said, I'm like, well, we can do this right now. We can end all of this right now.
Yes, VKJ. I was hitting it soft from the back. Now I'm coming around. Right.
That's what I said. That ain't what you said. He said I was giving it to you.
Okay, but the correction could have came after I got it out. It could have came after I got it out. But okay. So
then get the wrong stuff out. Look, we got verbatim for this line. Verbatim.
I can't with you. And so then basically he also lets her know that he took Rock out. I mean, not Rock, Andre out. And so she's like, well, you do know you just unalived the lawyer, right? And so Nick don't give a damn. And he said he's ready to take out anybody that she gives a damn about. And he said, I will be back. Please know that I will be back.
I'd have been like, but what about the hitting it hard though? What are we gonna do about that? We can't just take care of that right now.
Well, no, because if he hit it hard in her face like she liked it, then she won't be alive, probably. So, because again, only you would think it freaky like that.
Like,
girl, I'd be more worried about my life. Right now, you thinking like Prunella. So,
Pernessa. Oh my God. All right, so Amani is getting in Lou's ass about him not being honest about who he was sleeping with.
Oh, you're not going to Akbar?
Who?
Akbar and his boys taking over the block. That's kind of a big part. But okay, so basically Akbar, he goes and tells you, we see him in the crew. That's the Jersey boys. They come across the bridge and he lets his boys know, go up on the corners, let them know what it is. And now we running the block. And so that's what they go do. And they scare off all the Rock's people. So now
I think
Neek
got further down.
Oh, well, it was like right after because it was Neek and then Akbar and then Amani. But go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, Amani is getting in Lou's ass about how he's not being honest about him sleeping with his ex. And he's trying to explain that, it was just something that happened. We was going through it and, we was a little twisted. And she tells him, really, you don't need to explain because it's nobody's business. Well, if that's the case, why are you asking him about it? She was like,
I didn't understand this. I really didn't. I mean, I guess she liked Lou. I mean, we know she liked Lou and that's cool. But for you to sit there and say, you don't have to tell me and I understand. But it's just the fact that it's Jessica. But why does it matter? Because we're not together. And that's how I'm just so confused.
Well, she said that she doesn't want to start feeling anything and get her heart broken. And he's like, well, I'm not going to break your heart, girl. Like,
hey, Cortland, how you doing? Like, happy Easter.
It's given we the ones that's left out the loop. Maybe they are in a relationship and we just don't know about it.
I feel that way only because Lou's like, oh, I'll never break your heart.
Break your heart. Exactly. Like what? And he should have been like, if that was the case and they're not in a relationship for real, he should have been like Juke and been like, this ain't that.
Okay. That I feel exactly the same.
So yeah, he said, me and Jess were two people that were hurt and trying to numb the pain. But she had no problem putting her hand in his hand, looking deeply in his eyes, talking about I don't want to be hurt. I don't want you hurt. He's like, I don't want you hurt either. I don't know. It's giving more than like what we think it is. We just out the loop. So then Rock is explaining to Marvin, Kanan, and Juke that Unique is still alive. Marvin was like, was you like daydreaming or something? Like sleepwalking? Like, maybe there's just something you came up with in your head. And she was like, no, he the one that been hitting all the spots. and
hitting all the spots, y'all. Her mind is gonna be in the gutter this whole episode. Whole episode. But where is Danielle? Where is Danielle?
Giving that energy, boy. Okay,
she will be right in the gutter with you.
So she also says, well, he's the one that took out Andre. Okay, and he's doing whatever to hurt us. So Kanan says that he don't see why he didn't take her out last night. I said, good thinking, Kanan. Good thinking. It's because your mama done gave him something. So she said because if he do that, he messes up everybody's money, and he ain't trying to do that right now. So Juke is wondering if he's the one that took out Fame. She was like, nah, that don't make no sense. And if he did, trust me, he'd have been screaming from the rooftops. Marvin is ready to retaliate, and she told him we got to find out who's backing him. So she said he wants us to, that's what he wants us to do. Okay. And she was like, we got to sit tight for a minute. Kanan told her, you supposed to be so damn good at this, and you still messing up. Okay. You sit at the top. You're supposed to be taking care of, little niggas below. And you don't do that, and you ain't never done that. I said, oh, somebody smacked me.
Yeah, I was with Marvin. I really felt like Kanan really needed a belt at this point.
Right. So Marvin was
right, Cortland.
He's like, boy, watch your mouth. Okay. So he said, she needs to watch what she's saying to us. Okay. Because we out here getting our asses handed to her, and she wants us to lay back in a cut. She told him, you're alive right now because I kept you safe. Every time you messed up, I was there to clean up your mess. I made all your stuff right to keep you breathing. Okay.
You better tell him.
He said, so don't talk to me about no top spot or how to talk. And if you do, well, no, what she said was you should be talking less and listening a lot more. When you do talk, you should be saying thank you. Really, that should have been the end of that. But of course, he had to put his little 2 cents in, talking about thank you for always messing stuff up. I said, listen. So then when he leaves, Marvin was like, that boy need a belt. And Juke is like, he's grown. So Marvin was like, okay, so what do you suggest? What do you suggest we do with your cousin? And she's like, listen. And Rock just looked like she was ready to have a heart attack. Like, that's what you got? That's it?
Well, That's all she. That's all she wrote. Welcome, no one. Welcome. I've never seen you before, but it says greetings, Earthlings. How's your planet going? Well, that's I'm gonna leave that to the side. The planet now, America. That's a
I
different
was going to
story.
say yes, America.
But I think the rest of the world might be doing decent. So yeah, but it's Easter here. Okay, so we are not the same. We are Martians, literally. All right. So now we see Prunella. I don't care what the girl's name is. This is what I named her. So whatever y'all want to call her, fine. Okay, we can call her P.
Neek calls her P.
Okay, we can call her P. I like that better. So we see P. She's struggling with her hands full as she's coming home with the groceries and stuff. And then we see Neek roll up on her, and she's scared, of course. But then obviously she's just so happy when she realizes that he's alive. Now, for me, I don't know if I could have gotten over that, the shock of that quickly. I just, if you were supposed to be unalive and then you pop up, I just feel like, I don't know. I would be, I don't know. It's something in my mind. Once you're gone, you're supposed to be gone. So for me, I would be.
They never see nobody. So technically, listen, I'd have been just like Pranessa. I'd have been like, and look, and he the one that been putting money in the mailbox the whole time. Yeah, I'm jumping in your arms, bro.
I would have had to check myself.
All that talking that they was doing, I'd have been like, we got time to make up for it. Like what? We can talk later.
Stupid. No, I would have checked myself into the nearest facility because I would have thought I was nuts.
You just thought she was going crazy.
Yeah, for real. Panessa, whatever you want to call her, I call her Panella. Would have mad questions, right? Vacay JTV, but Nails would just want to get.
No, we can get to that later.
See, her mind is in the wrong place, in the gutter. Anyway, so on Easter Sunday at that, right? Terrible.
It's almost over. The day is almost over.
Look, we're gonna pray for her, y'all. So we're gonna hope that her spirit is resurrected. Okay, we're gonna
that's her baby daddy. They've been doing that. Okay,
we're gonna dunk her in some holy water. So we see Rock. She's sharing with Lou and Marvin that Neek's people are already posted on the corners, and so she tells them that basically this is Neek just getting started. So Marvin wants to know, well, what are we sitting around for? And Rock believes, well, Neek isn't going to step on the floor with them unless he basically has the same team behind him that they had, or the same level, because there's levels to this ish, right? So that's why they basically need to find out who's backing him at this point. And so she says she doesn't want to start bigger, drama that goes outside of Southside Jamaica, which we know it's already gotten to that point. But she doesn't know this yet, right? So she explains about how Neek thinks that it's her and Kanan that are responsible for trying to unalive him and Ronnie. Lou agrees with Marvin and says, look, they need to make Neek unalive again. And so Marvin is like, oh, look at Lou.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. I was like, yeah, Lou, okay. I ain't even gonna hold you. I said, where you been? Oh, my life. Where have you been all my life? Okay, I'm sorry. And so basically Lou tells Marvin that, look, I've been home, okay? And he's gonna protect anyone that's trying to mess with his home. And so he said, look, they got to go through me first. So Rock is like, look, can y'all just calm down? Listen to me. Neek ain't messing with us too hard right now because clearly there's somebody holding him back. And so then Lou tells her, well, tell that to Andre Barnes. I said, damn, Lou, damn. When you make points. And so Rock ignores his comment and tells Marvin they're going to go make their rounds and see what the streets are saying. And she also reminds him that despite what they think, she's been in the trenches, this whole time. And just because pows weren't blazing doesn't mean she hasn't been in the war this whole time. I said, Rock, you better go out here and teach the people, show them how it's done. Cortland said, I'm surprised Ronnie let her live. I am too, Cortland. But we love Rock. I would never want him to go. I would never want her to go.
I thought she was talking about Pranessa.
Oh, Prunella. Yeah. Oh, then that. Yeah.
That's who I thought she was talking about.
He could. I honestly, I wasn't rooting for her to go.
jumping at her and like,
Yeah,
I
no,
thought
I'm with
I
you on
thought
that.
she might
He
have been
could have,
on his too.
yeah, they could have taken P. They could have taken P. Lulu back in action or just talk? I think Lulu's back in action, and I actually think he's better because he's sober.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has a clearer head. Um, he said true rock. All right, go ahead, Nels.
All right. So then Unique sat down with Pernessa and explaining, basically, like she said, she's Black Widow. She sucks the blood out of anybody who gets caught up in her mess. And he said he's about to pull he said he's about to pull all her little spider legs off one by one. And she said, you know what? I doubt if she was planning. She was like, you know what? I don't doubt that she was planning to sell you out, but I don't know about all of that with Ronnie. And Pernessa is a real one because I would have just sat there quiet. Like, you was screwing my baby daddy. Like, girl, I don't know what happened. And just because you told me, you damn right. We
First
ain't
of all,
friends. We ain't friends, and I don't know you for real. You could have been plotting on my dude. I don't know that. I'd have been like, damn, baby, for real. I tried to tell you. I tried to tell
she
you.
also tried to tell him about his crazy ass brother.
Listen, listen, but
Okay.
he wasn't screwing his brother. Listen, if she got to go and you feel like she got to go, baby, I'm behind you. I'm with you, boo. Listen, I would have sat there quiet. So look, and this is what she get. This nigga got mad at her, jumped up at her, talking about, oh, you against me, da 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 da. And she like, whoa, whoa, whoa. See, I wouldn't handle all of that. Well, you know what? Let me go fix you something to eat because you've been, well, I don't know what you've been eating on. You know what? It sounds like your mind is, you know what I mean? You back to normal. You know what I'm saying? You need to stay loyal, okay? Because I am all you can trust at this point. All right. And you know what? She told him, yeah, I'm with you. She's all crying, talking about I was out here with Jerome all on my own. You don't know what that was like. So he told her, pack up. We out of here. We out of the South. I can't even talk. Out of the South side. He's like, it's about to get real smoky.
Well, I'm just gonna
like,
say,
you know what? I ain't even gotta pack nothing for real. If you could just buy us some new stuff. Just give me, little something, little something, little something, little something, little something. I ain't even gotta pack nothing. We can go right now.
Vacay, JTV, brain damage is a terrible thing, and I absolutely second that notion. I don't know about again, P gives pick me because not only would I be scared that the unalive brother who popped up out of nowhere, now you're exceptionally angry and you're popping off at me, the one person who has never done anything to you. So not only would I be going to get my head checked, I'd probably be going to check myself into another town somewhere that I don't think you can find me. But that's just me because
she look, that girl living with her mama. She off the money that he give her. What's she gonna do somewhere else?
Vacay JTV said Neek forgot Ronnie hated rock, so he would never listen to rock. Neek's brain is way off. Yeah, Cortland said we almost lost P in that scene. For real, if she would have said one more thing wrong, right, Cortland. And to me, that should have been. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. And this is my prediction. And again, I'm just throwing the line out there. Nothing might not bite. Okay, nothing may bite. However, I think we're gonna lose P. Next. How many episodes we got? We got 3 more episodes. I think we're gonna lose P. Either he gonna offer himself, or she gonna disobey him, and she gonna get off.
I can see her disobeying him. I can see her disobeying him.
I can see both because he's not right. And I mean, I don't know. He's just not right. He's not the same Nick. So then we move over to Juke, who asked Kanan if he thinks Neek is basically coming for them. We see them, sitting at the little diner or whatever. Kanan tells her, look, if Neek wanted to come for us, he would have done that a long time ago. He's been alive for months. So he tells Juke that basically it's not about us, it's really about Rock, which it kind of is. And he says that, he's not worried about Neek. If he took Ronnie out, he can handle Neek. And I said, ooh, and then I love when Juke said, Nick is not Ronnie, sir. I know you thought you did something, but Nick is not Ronnie. So, and then he was like, well, I ain't worried about it because, you know, I got you by my side. And so Juke said, look, I ain't standing up next to nobody. And so Kate was like, nah. Right. She was like, I know who Nick is. Just because you doubt it, I know who he is. So she was like, nah. And then so he comes to her and he's like, nah, Juke, you know, the business been going and running. And, you know, I would love, we could make this money together. We could be business partners. And he's like, I've been putting money to the side for months. And, you know, I'm really to start my own thing. Not my mom, not anybody else. It's simply, it could just be me and you together. And she's like, yeah, I'm not really interested in doing that. The only thing I want to do is find out who dropped Fame. For real, for real. And yeah, that's all I really care about. And then she goes into debating whether Neek was the person responsible for doing it. But then Kanan makes it clear that if Neek did it, he would have said it. So then Juke mentions that she doesn't think that if the story about the police is true, she doesn't think that they worked alone. And if Fame was unalive, then basically the call came from the streets. And so Kanan tells her, well, then they need to find out who made that call. So, you know, they taking it back to the streets. I said, well, Vacay said, calling it now, Neek's brain damage will lead him to lose his capacity to think right, and he will eventually have to watch Jeopardy to try to help him.
Oh, God.
Full Vacay JTV. That was funny. And this is Breeze. Speaking of Breeze, Nels, did you see what the people were talking about?
What, Breeze?
Remember, because you didn't catch the end of it last time, so you were at a loss, and we were talking about how the breeze was coming through the door, and then
okay,
okay, I was just making sure you caught it. Yeah, okay, go.
All right, so Marvin and Rock wants to go see Snap and Pop and let them know.
I still get confused on who is who.
Pop, you know how I remember? Because I feel like the dude's name should be Pop, but it's not.
But it's not. Okay, so then I got it right. So then I
remember. And her name and his name is Snap. And you know, okay, yeah. Basically, they let him know that Neek is still alive, and he believes that she tried to take him out, take over his business, and then take out Ronnie. And Pop is like, well, I mean, it do something like something you would do. And
I love when she said that. I ain't even gonna hold you the way Rock looked at her.
She's like, but I didn't. But it sounds like it.
I know it did sound like
it. And Snap said he ain't gonna bump up against you with Stefano and everybody else unless you know he got the same type of structure. He said, you know, he'll keep his ear to the street, but suggest you reach out to Stefano yourself, you know, himself. And she said, you know, we all need to handle Unique together because, you know, what? Oh, it's gonna get stupider. You know what type of word stupider. That is. Yeah, right? Look, that's what I'm like, wait, is this a typo? I forgot she did say it. And he's like, what they got to do with me? And she was like, we in business together. Our problem is your problem. He said, I'm in business with Kanan. Okay. And Marvin said, well, he coming for Kanan too. He was like, and basically said,
okay,
you know,
thank you for the word.
Huh?
They were basically like, thank you for the word.
Exactly. He was like, okay, consider us warned. And then after they left Pop and Snap, you know, Snap was like, oh, no, I'm sorry. Pop was like, it sounds like more trouble. And he was like, could be more trouble or it could be an opportunity. I said, oh.
So I would love to know in the chat what y'all thought about this particular scene because I ain't going to hold you. I think that, I don't know. I guess there's no way you could have did it, but I just feel like they're too smart to go and give someone that may not be their enemy, but knows is not necessarily their friend or their, you know what I mean, ally, give them all that information. Like I ain't gonna hold you. I thought that was so stupid. I was like, why are they telling them all this? Because of course it gives them a leg up because now they know what's going on. And so you pit the two against each other and sit back and watch.
Rock was hoping, like she said, we're in business together. My problem is your problem. She was hoping that they would join forces, and they're not with it.
But then we see they're gonna turn around and flip it, and they probably gonna end up. You get what I'm saying? That's why I don't know.
But the reason why she went is to get like people on her side, just like she went to Stefano, hoping that Stefano would be like, all right, well, what we got to do? And it's like, no, boo, you really out here alone. Like, this is your shit. You got to do this on your own. Like, I'll listen out for it. I'll find out what's going on, give you some intel, but I'm not joining with you. I'm not joining forces with you.
Let's see. Cortland says that Snaps and Pop are going to probably see what happens, then choose the winning side. Okay. I do feel like that's their MO. They kind of sit back and watch and then go for whatever benefits them.
Especially when they say
KJ said they're Switzerland. Okay.
Especially when he said, it could be trouble or it could be an opportunity.
All right, y'all. So then we basically get a small little clip. We see Neek basically has Rock's little Chinese spot on lock. The customers can't even there and go get product because his Jersey boys are sitting posted up in there. So it's messing with business. Then we hop over to Rock and Marvin. They go to see Stefano, like Nell said. And basically Stefano tells them that it's nobody from the 5 boroughs supporting Neek. And so he, of course, assumes that it's across the river from one of Sal's people. So Rock is like, well, can't you call him? Oh, hey, DeMarcus. Hey, boo. Happy Easter. We would look. I did mention you earlier. I was wondering where you at.
That's why I made sure
right. I was going to say, we were wondering. Because we know you was going to come up here and, pay your respects for Miss Joyce at the funeral. So, nah, y'all. So, anyway, basically, Stefano lets him know that, whoever's coming for him, they coming for him and his family. And right now, they're in what they consider to be a proxy war, which is where the big guys are making the little guys, which we've seen Rock, Marvin, and Neek fight on their behalf. And so Rock says that, she doesn't plan on going to war for him or anybody else. And so Stefano brings up that, like, look, by the way, I also heard that your inventory was a little depleted. And he's like, if you hadn't pissed Quan off, you might not be in this situation. So Rock's like, look, we're going to have our first shipment from Hafiz. It'll be here any minute. And Stefano tells her, well, while she waits for the shipment, Neek is out here taking all her business. And I said, well, there's that. He also lets her know that his people told him that Neek is now working with Quan. He even suggests Quan may sway some of her business from the restaurants, and because he feels like they all stick together. And so Rock assures him that, look, that's not going anywhere. And he tells her, look, I think you're a little too confident. You're not paying attention to what's really going down in front of your face from the front. Not the back, not soft in the back, like Neek said, in the front. Okay. And he basically tells her that he doesn't want anything to escalate and stand down until he can get more information. But before they leave, Stefano tells Rock he hopes her feelings for Neek won't get in the way of anything that might have to happen to him. And she makes it clear that nobody needs to be worried about her feelings. And he said that's famous last words. And I thought that was funny because I was like, are you saying? See, I look into things way too deep now because I'm like, are you saying famous last words? Or are you like the saying? Or are you saying that was famous last words?
Oh, gosh. You know what I was thinking? You know what I was thinking this whole time, right?
What?
When she's waiting on this shipment from the Afghan, right? And then he told her that it would be a month. I was like, so is this not like a job where you wait until you start the new job to like leave the old job? Like, I don't know. Is this like a dangerous game or something? Because why did you mess up what you already had until the new product came in?
Yeah,
why did you go and be like, yeah, F you? That's like saying F your job without having another one.
Well, remember what happened? She didn't want, what it was is her pride, and she didn't like the way Quan was talking to her, remember? Because she didn't go in with the intention.
That's all. Normally, previous jobs, you leaving for a reason, right? You got to kiss their ass until it's time for you to
leave.
Look,
what happened was she put in her 2-week notice, and he decided that he didn't need her to work out the 2 weeks.
This
That's
is
what
why you don't do the 2-week notice. You wait until everything is copacetic, and then listen, the day before you send your bye-bye letter. Okay,
y'all, please understand that we do a lot of things, but Chanel has no degrees or certificates in HR whatsoever. So please do not take any of her advice from her. Okay, do not let her lead y'all down to hell. Okay, you and your job.
But if you do, I guarantee you won't miss a paycheck like Rock is right now. Okay,
you stupid.
All right.
So Marcus said Happy Resurrection Day at 420. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought you.
It is. You gotta choose. You gotta choose. Did you choose, Trace?
What?
Never mind.
Don't do that. What do you mean? Well, you said I choose, and it was so funny because my pastor said today, he said Jesus wants all of you, not parts of you. And I said, well, Jesus,
you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere.
You can have little piece. Oh, are you done?
I thought you were reading the comments.
Oh, okay. I will. I just thought DeMarcus said R.I.P. Joyce. Of course. Cortland says Stefano will probably be in another city next episode. Okay. DeMarcus says Stefano didn't have a crush on Rock this episode. He definitely didn't. He definitely gave her the business. Vacay J said, I'm not going to say it out loud, but yes, that's basically what he insinuated, Vacay. Cortland said, yeah, we know how much Quan
he literally said that. Those were his words.
I know he said it. I know I know. Cortland said, yeah, we know how much Quan hated Rock. He was smiling so hard when he saw Unique. Oh, yeah. He couldn't wait. He could not wait. Vacay said they played with the famous line. Okay. So it wasn't just me. I'm not tripping. I might have looked too deep into it. DeMarcus said Hafiz looks like Morris' dad. I can see that comparison. I can see that. Rock didn't have a backup plan. No, she didn't. And I guess if you want to take Nels' HR advice, then you're more than welcome. Now you justify it for Rock.
You won't miss a paycheck. I guarantee you that.
Y'all stupid. Y'all think Rock will probably use the get out of jail free card? She's the female ghost. I don't know. Rock doesn't give me that. I mean, I think I have to see something happen significant enough to make me feel like she needs to use it. I don't think she will. Cortland. That's just my opinion. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nels.
All right, so Kanan gets to his storage unit and sees his lot cut. It's all bad, all bad. He get in there and see all the money gone. I think I might have
everything.
I think I saw one bill. Everything. All right, so
DeMarcus.
What's she snitch on?
Right. I guess he's saying that he believes that if she would take the get out of jail free and snitch. But that just made me clutch my pearls, DeMarcus. Get your life together. And if you guys haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button.
We know and the subscribe button. We know she ain't got her good old lawyer no more. So then Marvin and Rock are talking about how they're not trying to get into, their fight battles for them. And Rock says Sal's people trying to get their payback for their mans. And really, Quan might be able to swing the Chinese spots, just like Stefano said. So he said it's all because of Neek. He's the head of the snake, and we got to cut him off. Okay?
I kind of agree with that theory.
And lay him to rest, is what I'm going to say. She said Jersey ain't just going to, let it go like that. They're using Neek to get to us and to get to Stefano. So he's like, all right, so let's make peace for a minute, split the blocks with Neek till we up with the Afghan, then take all of our stuff back and put his butt in the ground. She says Stefano is never going to let them have a piece of his business, okay? Plus it'll make him look weak to him and his family, and he'll be unalived in a month. That ain't going to work. So Marvin said, well, how do we know Stefano's not going to make a deal with Jersey and basically say,
now that's the bigger question.
When he said that, I said, Marvin, okay. And she was like, okay. Well, she was like, we don't. So he suggested making a move on Stefano. And she was like, that's a big move. And he said, He's a big problem. I said, oh, all right, Marvin.
Right. I
Hey,
was here for it.
Happy
I said, look at Marvin leveling up. Hey, I did see you come in. Hey, share my love. It's been a while. We missed you. Happy Easter. I'm glad that you made it as well. Okay. DeMarcus said Rock snitched on Unique in season 1. Okay. You're giving me knowledge. All right, virtual co-host. DeMarcus said Rock could go to the crazy house for the unaliving of Joyce Thomas. I don't think so. I don't think she's gonna get caught. Marvin is using his brain. Absolutely, vacay. Marvin could smoke Quan to hurt Unique's business. Okay. I don't know. But I mean, I'm really ready for Quan and his whatever he got going on the top of his head to go. So I'm not opposed to that at all. And Cortland says Stefano threatened Rock with that right before teaming up with the other families. Okay. Well, I guess it could be a thing, but I was laughing to myself because when they were talking about how Rock was talking about how the Jersey boys just not gonna stop and just roll over, and I was laughing because I literally had to drive through Trenton yesterday on my way into Jersey. I wasn't in Trenton, but I had to drive through it, and I said looks a little rough.
What are you talking?
Trenton, New Jersey. That's where Akbar and his crew is from.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And I said I drove through
it. I was just confused where Trenton was coming. I was like, what?
Right. It looks a little bit questionable. That's all I'm saying. Vacay said, nah, Rock set up Unique to get him out of the game in season 1. Okay, they going back and forth in the comments. Share my love said, yes, I miss you guys too. Thank you. Oh, yeah, y'all doing y'all back and forth. Marvin is going to be the mailman again and get rid of Stefano. Mm-hmm. Okay, I could see that, and I actually could see that. Stefano okay, right? So y'all agree. Yeah, Trenton is no joke. Yeah. And look, I used to, for a very short time, used to live in Newark back in the day. So for me to say that about Trenton, and I used to live in Newark, that should tell you a lot. Okay? Now, it may be different now, gentrification and all, but I'm just saying. So Neek brings P, since y'all don't like my name for it. So he took P to the new house, okay? And he tells her that she can't go back to the south side until he says so. And so she's like, but I gotta go back to check on my mama because she got dialysis. And he said, your mama. Like straight like that.
Literally.
And Nick was like, and he's like, you know what? You and Jerome are the only 2 witnesses. So you just gonna do whatever I ask, and you're not gonna leave this house. You're gonna stay in this house, and you're gonna do whatever I say. And he said, I'll have one of the guys take your mama to her appointments. And he said, but he's been unalive once, and he ain't gonna do it again for nobody. Not her, not her mama, not even Jerome. I was getting ready. It was crazy because Jerome wasn't there, and I was like, is he about to say Jerome too? The way he acted, y'all. And this is what she wants. I
thought it was weird that Jerome wasn't there. If it's so bad in the city or in Queens, and you had to move them to Miami, to Manhattan. Why did I start to say?
I said this is not being there.
Right. And you had to move them to Manhattan. Why didn't you bring your son? Why did you only bring Vanessa? I'm confused. And DeMarcus want to tell us in the comments, clearly, Trace, with you.
What? Oh, I clearly he wants DeMarcus. You and Prunella go somewhere, okay? Angela Ward said, F your moms. Hey, Angela. I guess you just came in, but hey, boo. VKJ said, I got people all over Jersey, especially Newark. Yeah. Shout out to Vassar Avenue. DeMarcus said, Pranella's mama was too fond of Unique in season 2. Oh, okay. I see. Again, I didn't get into season 3. VKJ said, Rock been working with her baby daddy Howard until he flipped on her for Unique, DeMarcus. Okay, so y'all still going at it in the comments. I see what y'all doing.
All right. So
yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got for P and crazy.
All right. So Juke got home and Marvin confronted her about messing with his piece again. You know what? I don't know if y'all caught it, but like it looked like she almost got out of character for a minute because she looked like she wanted to smile so bad.
Who?
But Juke.
Oh.
So he told her that, you know what, just take it. Okay. He said now he wants her to have it. He was like, stuff is crazy out here, especially with what happened to Fame. But this has nothing to do with me wanting you to like basically do dumb stuff with it. Okay. And he was like, I just want to make sure you got protection. He said, I don't want this life for you. I don't want this world for you. And she was like, I'm in this world. This is the world we living in. He said, no, I live here. Okay. Not you. All right. And once stuff settled down, you giving it right back. And then Rock.
I don't know how he thought this was gonna work out, but okay.
That child, she trigger happy. She ready to just
she
pull
is
it
real
out.
Trigger happy. She just waiting. Like I said, she's turning into Juke 2.0.
Yeah. So then Rock went to go see Hafiz. About the ETA. Hafiz about the ETA. And he said, we're moving as fast as we can. Okay. My country is in chaos right now, which makes things complicated. And told her it should be like a month. And she said, I ain't got a month. And this is why you don't give notice. Okay. The start date got pushed back. Okay. And you should have been prepared for it. I'm just saying.
Y'all sit up here and let her give y'all HR advice if you want to. Y'all better go to LinkedIn.
You see it. You see it.
Look, ask LinkedIn, not nails. Ask LinkedIn, not nails. Ask ChatGPT, not nails.
And sometimes when you give 2 weeks notice, they like to fire you before the 2 weeks is up. It's not smart.
Well, that's what was happening with her and Quan.
No, so she quit. She quit.
What'd you say? She quit.
She quit that job.
Stupid. She resigned. Katie goes to his stash house, and of course he's looking for OC. Nobody has heard or seen him, and Kanan tells him to hit the block and find out where he is. Oh, see, you know what, DeMarcus? You just want to be on the wrong side of history today. You know what, DeMarcus?
I'll take that HR specialist.
I can't with y'all. Juke is walking down the street when a group of YT men are catcalling at her. So she reaches for her piece on her hip, but she decides against pulling it out. Because we know she was about to light it up.
Right. And, she was just ready. Mm-hmm. And look, she stopped and then looked back to make sure he was still working. Otherwise, I think she would have just ran up on him.
She said, I'm going to stay ready, so I ain't got to get ready. And since that was short, I'll go ahead and get into stupid behind B Rilla. Nobody cares for him. Does anybody in the chat care for B Rilla? I think that's a consensus that we don't give a damn, right? But we see him and Kenyatta, a.k.a. Dr. Umar, pull up to Lowell's house to do this caper, right? So B Rilla isn't with it because he realizes that the lights are on and somebody's in the house. And they like, oh, well, it is what it is. We might need codes to the safe and things like that. And so he's like, well, nah, because this ninja, DeMarcus. if y'all are new, okay, to the channel, I called DeMarcus my virtual co-host, but he is my virtual antagonist. Okay, that is exactly what he is. Okay, you have a new title. Okay, I've promoted you, DeMarcus. You got promoted. How's that for HR? Okay. No, B Rilla is a goofball. Right, share my love. Right. But no, he was actually right. But anyway, so they decide, he's like, you know what? I ain't going. This is real stupid. And yeah, I'm not doing it. So he decides he's gonna sit in the car. They leave him in the car. They go inside the house. He's watching from the outside. He sees, the shots are fired. And then they come out. One of the dudes has been hit, and they let him know that or I guess the guy had a weapon and was firing back and hit his boy. And so they had to take him and his lady out. And so, yeah, and that was the end of them. And I said, see, this is stupid. Okay, hold on. Before you get into, hold on. I feel like I missed something. Nah, all them terrible characters, but okay, y'all can't with y'all. What do y'all think makes Jukebox become a cop? Maybe Kanan will need someone on the inside. Oh, that's a very good question, Cortland. Look at you. I don't know.
I think that was a good suggestion too.
I think that's it. I also think too, I think that she's gonna discover that she loves being like a Robin Hood type of figure where she's a vigilante and during the day she's helping people and then at night she's murking them. You know what I mean? Good cop, bad cop type of thing. Almost like a Detective Howard. Like you feel like you're doing right in some ways, but you're really not doing. You know what I'm saying? That's just my view on it.
Share My Love said Marvin might need someone on the inside.
Oh, well, that too. DeMarcus said Rock looked thirsty and desperate for Hafiz's product. Yes, that's the one time I did see her come off a little desperate, and I've never seen that before. Cortland said, we see why Tommy called Jukebox crazy. Yeah, because she is. Cortland said B-Rilla was probably just scared. I think he was too. Because I feel like if he wanted to do that caper by himself, he could have. He didn't need nobody to do that, especially since so I agree with that, Cortland. B-Rilla was smart but shook. Okay, so y'all all agree that B-Rilla was, oh yeah, he was shooketh. Okay. All right, y'all. So they ain't getting no money. Now that's the real question. Cause Lowell don't even, we'll get there, but Lowell apparently don't even live there no more. Lord don't
well,
live
he did say that they robbed.
No
well, he said that they robbed the family that was living there.
Better hope Lou doesn't find out about this. B-Rilla might be done. Marvin might need someone on okay. And Samir got pow during the home invasion. Yeah, whoever he is. I don't, that's one of those characters we'll meet once and never see again. But thank you for the name, virtual antagonist.
All right, so Juke is out club drinking, feeling herself. She ain't normally like this. I don't even think she had a drink before when she was there. Then she literally walked up to some chick and started kissing her. I said, "Oh, this is what that piece do on your hip." Took the girl to the bathroom. Okay. Then it seemed like the girl got more turned on because she took the piece off her hip and sat it down. Then she went down. Okay. Then afterwards, Juke wouldn't even get a drink with the girl, wouldn't even give her number and said, "This ain't that. I had fun though. Thank you."
I ain't gonna hold you. I love the way Juke played her. Because she was giving thirsty even back when we first saw her and she was up there.
I was wondering if it was the same girl from before.
Yeah, it was the same girl. It was the same girl.
The one that came up and asked if she wanted to get a drink.
Right, yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Jukebox was drunk with Jackie. Yeah. Right.
All right. So Marvin went to go see Stefano. And then when they sat down, he told him that one of his friends had to get fished out the East River. He said he's a son of a real big shot, okay, who, is sadly no longer with us. And then he said, I think his name is Capo di Tutti.
You know what? I ain't gonna hold you. That's a chat antagonist. What's he gonna know? DeMarcus is gonna know it. That's why I'm asking. DeMarcus is gonna know the name.
He said he's the bosses of all bosses from out here in Howard Beach, and they have no idea who did it. So he told him that he wanted to speak to him alone because there's things that, men understand that women don't. And his sister's is in a lot of trouble. And she made some poor decisions that compromised all of them. He said, my sister being a woman ain't got nothing to do with Neek still being alive. And he said, yeah, but her messing up the relationship with Quan opened up the door to give Neek a foothold. See? No notice. Okay. Marvin said, she was trying to make more money for us, all of us. And Stefano said, he told him that Neek has Sal Baselli's old gang behind him, Phil Russo out in Jersey. And Marvin said, they pissed off because you took out their boy Sal. And he said, yeah, you're right. Okay. But the compounding problem that we got right now is that she ain't got no products. Okay. Oh. And you're losing the market. What?
Okay, whoever the name is, he didn't
early.
Whatever you said, but he's saying early took, and I didn't even get that. So that's what Stefano's complaining about, because remember he said he's holding him responsible. So apparently, I guess Early took out somebody that's super important. Is my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong.
But right now he don't know who the heck it was. Why did Early take him out?
I don't know. Maybe he was trying to get some money from him or something. I don't know. I'm glad that you said it, DeMarcus, because that totally went over my head.
Well, he said, your primary competitor is Unique, okay, and wants Rock's head on a stake. Stefano said, he can't get in no fight with Jersey because that's not good for business, especially over something like this. And told him the best way to avoid the bloodshed is to move Rock aside. Then mentions him being level-headed. They need somebody level-headed, and he thinks that he's great for the job. He told him, my sister already filled that job. Okay. And this is not some stuff that you ever want to come at me with again. All right. So
I love when he shut that down. Yeah. I love that. I said, look at that loyalty.
Mm-hmm. And Stefano was basically like, you got me in a real uncomfortable position. He said, you did to see damn self. Okay. He was like, look, we in this together. Okay. But I got to go right now. And basically, we ain't done with this conversation. So,
yeah. And the chat is saying the capo owed Early Tyler $10K. So I knew it was something, because last time we were talking about it, he was owed some money and he was telling Marvin, he was complaining, and Marvin said, that's your problem. Handle it. And so I guess he handled it. That's what it's giving. Vacay said she gave Juke the beatbox. You were terrible. Cortland, with females like Jukebox, you just have to accept getting played. She's very crazy. Y'all remember in the original Power how Jukebox used to treat that girl, and then 50 started smashing her, and it was just real crazy. And the fact that she found out about it and seemed like she didn't even care, like they was just both sharing her, it just seemed real strange. I knew back then, I was like, oh, she's special. It's real special. Cortland said, yes, Stefano will probably try to take out Rock and Marvin now. I think that this is where this is headed as well. Marvin shouldn't have said no. Okay. Stefano was right about Rock. She thinks she's bigger than what she is, not the woman part. Okay. I'm going to give you that, Angela. I'm going to give you that. That's facts. All right. So we see Kanan. He riding around. He's still trying to find OC. And nobody can seem to find him. But they tell him, look, go check the arcade, because OC, again, we don't know if OC is 14 or 41. We're still trying to figure it out. All right. So they also go ask, when can we get more product? Because look, we getting calls. And he tells them, well, look, don't worry about it. Let me find this missing person, because I can't say missing teen, can't say missing young adult, can't say missing adult. So let me just go find this missing person, because we can't classify his age. And then he'll hook them up. All right. OC is gone. Well, better be far away. That would be smart, but nobody ever gets to dip in when they need to. That'd be the problem with a lot of these shows, I feel like, because if it was me, and if I'm going to go steal some money, I'm not going to be staying in the same. I'm going to get the dip in, and you're going to have to look for me. But nobody ever does that. B-Rilla just happens to be in the studio with Lou. And Lou said that, Lowell's office called and said that he's going to be there any minute. So we see B-Rilla, as y'all say, shooketh. He's sitting there shook.
His office call?
Right.
So he coming for real?
And Lou was like, yeah, I talked to him. He confirmed he's coming. And then we see Lou walk in and he's like, yeah, crazy happened. And the couple in his old home was, pow-powed and unalived. And so he's like, look, let me just hear this record. Let me hear this, new sound of B-Rilla, while B-Rilla's sitting there looking guilty as hell. But a part of me felt like he looked guilty, and then a part of me felt like he looked almost like upset that Lowell didn't die.
After he was looking at him, right? Like
yeah, it looked like almost like he was disappointed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Rock paying off Officer Buckley and Roland to move product through the Southside Plaza. I know, DeMarcus, but people gonna assume what they assume, and because Kanan, we gonna get there, but Kanan done already, Juke done already put the bug in Kanan's head, which is making him, think like that, right?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, then we see Kanan riding through the old neighborhood. He sees his mom pay the police. Snap and Pop are having a conversation about sleeping in separate bedrooms, and yeah, Snap really ain't with it. And then Neek walks in.
And you know what's so funny? I ain't even gonna hold you. Snap and Pop give me the couple that absolutely sleep in separate rooms.
Well, he said he ain't doing that. That's not what married couples do.
Well, you know, last season they were speculating they were swingers, so maybe they do share the same bed. But
I guess if they ain't a third person, they don't want to. Well, she don't
right.
want to. So Lou and Marvin went to go see their mother, and it's really given. Lou didn't really want to be there. He just didn't want to feel guilty, you know, after she's gone for not showing up for her. He told him that, you know, she's in a lot of pain. And then as they were leaving, they ran into Rock. So Lou is basically saying, you know, maybe she did the best that she could, she was all that she could be. Okay. And so she was like, so you gonna let her off the hook? And he was like, I'm letting her off the hook for me. Okay. I can't spend the rest of my life blaming her for stuff, you know, that she didn't know how to do in the first place. And really, it wasn't even all that bad. So then they started reminiscing on the good memories they had with her. And then they let her know that she's in a lot of pain. Okay. And she paid a nurse for a needle full of dope that'll put her to sleep for good. So Rock was like, why do you think she ain't asked me? They was like, because you want her to suffer. Okay. And she was like, okay.
I thought that was so real. I thought that was so real.
And she was like, you ain't wrong. Okay. Then Lou was like, what happened to that dude that just won't be unalived? And she was like, we're standing down. Okay. So then after he left, Marvin told her that Neek is back by Sal's old crew, and he heard it from Stefano. And so she was like, okay, so that was you coming out the fish shop. You know, the police didn't have you mistaken with somebody else. So you've been messing with him behind my back. And he was like, you know, I did a little side work for him. It wasn't nothing, but he told me to keep it between us. And she was like, so if it wasn't nothing, why did you need to keep it between y'all? And you lied to me about it. He said, I didn't want to have this conversation. She was like, well, we having it now. Okay. And she said, you know, you keeping secrets. He said, no, I'm not. I'm just living my life. I said, what? Let her do what? Say what? I'm just living my life. Right. And he was like, you know, everything doesn't revolve around you. And he said, look, just go in there and go see your mom. Okay.
I love when he was like, I don't report to you, ma'am. That's just straight up.
So, you know, she did as her big brother told her to. And she was actually being kind of nurturing. You know, she brings up a memory that she had when she was for her birthday, when her mom had the whole neighborhood bring their dogs. And she was like, I did it because I was tired of you asking me to get you one every 10 minutes. So she told her mom that was a good thing. And she said, you know, it was, she said, you know, Marvin and Lou told me what you asked them to do. And she said that, you know, she wasn't right in her mind. The medicine messes her up. And she was like, you sure? Her mom said, why? You going to do it? You going to do what they won't do? She was like, you want me to? And her mom said she don't want her no more. So Rock went over, got the needle and put the IV in. And, you know, before she was out of here, she said, take care of your brothers and take care of your son.
All right, Mama Joyce. Cry. When I cry, you cry. We cry together. You're so funny. Cortland said, yeah, Rock is definitely the worst daughter of all time in the Power universe. I don't think so, Cortland. I don't think that makes her the worst daughter. I think that, I mean, if anything, she did what Marvin and Lou couldn't do, and her mother asked that of her. I mean, I don't know if you've ever talked to somebody that has went through cancer, and this is way back in the day before they had the developments they have now, but it's really painful and on your body. And yeah, and really all they're doing, like they said, it's spreading all over her body. So all they're doing is basically keeping her alive, but she's going to, I don't know. I don't think it makes sense for her to suffer. I personally didn't. I mean, I don't know if I could do it, but right. Share my love. I absolutely loved how Rock understood the
I
assignment
was
and was
I
nurturing to her
was
mom, regardless of the past. Yes.
I was shocked that she was nurturing to her.
Yes, I was absolutely shocked. Weren't you, DeMarcus? But Team Joyce Thomas, she just wanted to be with Elijah Thomas. I'm not gonna say what I want to say because I think that if Elijah tried to run away from her, I don't think he wants to. I don't think he's looking for her in the afterlife. Is what I'm saying, DeMarcus. But
Oh,
you know, just saying. Joyce Thomas is the original Rock Thomas. I love me some. Clearly, DeMarcus. Clearly, you gonna stand 10 toes down on this. All right. Yeah, y'all. And then I don't know if y'all saw the previews, but obviously we know Kanan is
well,
what?
that was the end. Crystal got back to the apartment and found Kanan sitting in
Oh
the dark.
yeah.
And he was basically like, "Can I trust you? You know, you got my back." She was like, "Yeah, you know, you can trust me." And he was like, "I know who killed Famous, unalive Famous." And he said it was his mother. And I guess because he saw his mom paying the police, he assumed that his mama did it. Big dummy.
Because right, you said big dummy, especially because of the bug that what's the name? Crazy ass Juke done already put in his head. But yeah, y'all, based on so I guess we got a break next week. So y'all got a little break, okay? So enjoy your little spring, enjoy your time off. It's not paid, but it's time off. Okay. Since we're in the HR of it all, we appreciate you being here with us. For all of those who weren't able to make it, I understand it is Easter Sunday. Like I said, I hope you all had a wonderful day. Blatant truth, please, our HR girl, please make sure you write nails up for out here giving false narratives to the people. I appreciate you. Shout out to Danielle.
Speech. Okay.
You were missed because I knew you would be just as nasty as Nell. So I'm sure when you be in the replay, you're gonna just, hype her up even more. So yes, you guys were missed today. But yeah, thank you, DeMarcus, for the $5 super sticker.
Yes,
we
thank
appreciate
you.
He is risen. Share my love. I still don't trust Crystal. I don't either. I don't. It's something about her I don't like. I mean, I know she don't want to go home, but I feel like she don't do nothing. And that bothers me. I just feel like when you a hustler, you need to have a hustler mentality. Like with Ghost, Tasha was like, had a hustler mentality. She just did not do nothing.
She not trying to be a hustler. She trying to be a little house huzzy.
Okay, whatever.
Basically, like what
she's
you
not
said.
built.
Okay.
She's not built. She's not built for this. She's not built for this. I'm sorry. But yeah, y'all. We appreciate you. If you haven't already, please. Yes, right. DeMarcus, now you got that one right. You got that one right. She's giving Prunella. If y'all haven't already, please make sure y'all hit that like button for us.
Make sure you comment.
Make sure that you guys subscribe.
And you hit the notification bell.
And make sure you're following us on all the platforms. That's the Blue Sky, the IG, the TikTok, and the Facebook, y'all. And yeah, we will catch you not next week, but the week after. So again, if you show up late, you will be docked. Okay. And I don't want to hear nothing about you don't want to give no notice. Don't listen to nails. All right. Love y'all. Have a good week. Be safe. Bye-bye.